الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد. أولا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله to the viewers that have tuned in, and it's important that we continuously churn out content, especially podcasts, because Shaykh knows these days it's all about podcasts, isn't it? People like to see conversations rather than a face to cam, one person talking. So I'm currently in Ribat and I am honored and privileged. We've had the conversation before, Shaykh. I was here about a few years ago, not in this precise location, so we've got the maktab behind me, but today we're here going to have a enjoyable, pleasant, and it will be hard hitting, and I'm going to press Shaykh. He won't mind. He's a big boy. So we're going to discuss various topics, but as I said, I won't give it away thus far. So Shaykhna, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Jazakumullah khairan for inviting us once again. It's always a pleasure coming and visiting you. I think the last time you were abroad, weren't you? You were in the conference, I remember.
Maybe.
You were with Sheikh Dadu. I don't know where that was.
In Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah. So I contacted you and you were in Turkey at the time.
Turkey, yeah.
So, Sheikh, a lot's happened in the last 2 years, right? And
a lot.
Also, a lot's happened this year. We're in July now, and we've got various topics, various issues. And on top of that, there's glad tidings. The Ummah obviously is progressing. We are, educating the masses, and Islam is flourishing. So, Sheikh, before I get into the hot topics, I'm sure many know who you are, but just a brief introduction. I know you're born and raised in Morocco. Just a brief introduction to the viewers, and inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, I'm so happy to be with you again. And I thank you for giving me this thing to speak to your audience. I was born actually in Morocco I was born in the summer. Or else my family were in Arabia. Yeah, my father and grandfather, they used to live in Saudi Arabia. Okay. My grandfather was in Mecca. My father in those days used to live in Dawah, Eastern Arabia. And then we went from Eastern Arabia to the west to Jeddah, where I studied in the schools there until I took my high school. And then I came back to Morocco, where I studied business administration in English. And then after that, I went to Jordan, where I took my master in Islamic studies. After that, I came back to Morocco. I had a masjid. I used to give Jummah speeches and stuff like that. But there were lots of, those days, the things were so hot.
I can imagine.
So I was arrested and I was put in prison for for a couple of years.
Yeah, we spoke about that last time.
So after that, I came out. I continued, alhamdulillah, my studies. I took my PhD and in Islamic studies, and I participated in a lot of conferences and things like that. And so I was chosen to be the president or the leader of the Maghreb Scholars League. And I'm in the high council of the Islamic of the Muslim Scholars League.
In the Maghreb?
No.
Oh, overall.
In the world.
Collectively.
Yeah. And I participated in a lot of things, and I have my academy, Ibn Abdul Academy, where I teach a lot of. I have my program and stuff.
Yeah. And just to add, it's Maliki fiqh. So naturally, Shaykh being from North Africa. So you studied your youth, or the studies you did, secular studies, when in Saudi? Because you said high school.
Yeah, I said no. I took my high school. That means primary, secondary, and the high school.
We call high school secondary school in the UK.
It's secondary, yeah.
Secondary, okay.
Yeah. So I studied until I finished my studies in Saudi Arabia.
And then that qualification is relevant in Maghreb?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Okay, then you went to university. No, you went to Jordan, didn't you? Said.
Yeah, here in Morocco, I studied my my university studies in an institute. It's called International Institute for Higher Education.
Okay.
So I studied business administration.
Oh, wow.
This institute has a relationship with some American universities and things like that, but I didn't continue in that aspect. I went to Jordan and I continued Islamic studies.
So, get into the lub al-mawdu, as I say. We're going to start, Sheikh. I'm not going to give you any time to rest now. You've had your Moroccan tea, you've had 2 of them in the last 2 minutes. So, I know a lot of people have a viewpoint when it comes to geopolitics, right?
Yeah.
And all of this, and I even said it to a lot of brothers in the UK, unless we're not part of the, negotiation or being involved in those conversations, we don't really know the full fact unless there's a public press release from those particular governments. Now, Syria obviously has seen a lot of oppression from the Nusayri regime, and we know the connection with a lot of Shi'i groups that supported Bashar al-Assad. And when I was there after the war, a lot of them that were obviously, in power, they said a lot of them come on the viewpoint that these people are going to destroy their holy shrines.
Yeah.
So like the shrine of say the Zainab and etc. So they come with that emotion.
Yeah.
Did they commit atrocities? Of course they did, right? No doubt about it.
Of course. Yeah.
So we're not going to overlook that. So now that the war in Iran has happened, obviously the US and its proxies have always had a foothold in certain regions in the Gulf. We know that without going into too much details. But Iran has oppressed Ahl Sunnah for a very long time in Iraq, and obviously we're involved in Afghanistan in some capacity. So why would we trust Iran? How can we trust Iran?
Okay, alhamdulillah. We don't trust Iran, and we don't speak about that. We have an issue. What is the issue? Mm-hmm. We have Muslims against non-Muslims. Yes. So we need to stand near our Muslim brothers without asking or without looking at their what they did before. That's not our business now. Now the main idea is to support our Muslim brothers. You're going to tell me, our Iranian Muslims.
I was going to ask, but you already beat me to it.
Iran is a Muslim state, and it has lots of Sunnis and a lot of laymen that are in general Muslims.
That's true.
So do you agree that the Jews or the Israelis and the Americans bomb Iran randomly like that and kill people and destroy the land?
Of course not.
Do you agree that these enemies of Islam, the real enemies of Islam, who are afraid of Iran, because they claim that Iran is the great power that might harm them? Mm-hmm. So they're not, their point of view is not like our point of view. They don't differentiate between Shia and Sunni. All of them, they consider us all Muslims.
Yeah.
Like us, do we differentiate between Orthodox Jews and secular Jews and stuff like that? They don't care. We say just these are Israelis and that's it.
Zionists.
They're Zionists that came and invaded Palestine and they took our land. They have to go out of our land. That's it. Yeah, that's the main idea. For them, they say anybody who is against them, we have to destroy him, no matter who he is.
Okay.
So for us, we have to stand firm with all our brothers. More than that, we have to stand firm with anybody who is against the state, this mad state. Yeah. We have to be with anybody. Now, like for example, when South Africa went to the High Court and they made their best to arrest the leaders of this nasty regime, all of us supported that. Nobody said these are Muslims, these are Christians, these say that Jesus is the Son of God. Nobody spoke about that at all. Yeah. Well, why when it comes to the Shia, everybody remembers all of a sudden that these guys insult the Sahaba, insult the Ummahat al-Mu'min. So what is this? That's another topic. Totally, it's a totally different topic.
So can I push back and say the leadership, so the average Shi'i, I agree with you. Blanket takfir, I don't make blanket takfir on the Shia to say, kullahum kuffar. Like the way we find some of our Salafi brothers who are hasty with that. But is it not fair to say that the regime, and this Wilayat al-Faqih regime, if you look at the last, let's leave Afghanistan for 1 second, even though they subtly, obviously, partook in it. From 2003 to 2023, when the Syrian war ended, they've been actively involved oppressing Muslims, Sunnis.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we're not saying the average Iranian Shi'i in Tehran or Shiraz or whatever. But we're talking about the leadership. Is it better for us to remain neutral and say, look, we're against the oppression, we understand that America and the Zionist state are oppressing Iran, but like Imam Malik said, let the Zalimun, upon the Zalimun, let them deal with each other.
They're not going to deal with each other. One of them has to destroy the other and then destroy us.
So it's the next step after this.
It's the first step and then the next step. That's how they see it.
Okay.
They say that we don't agree. We don't want to see any power here. If they're going to finish with Iran, they're going to go to Turkey.
Okay.
Turkey, Syria, or Syria may be easier than Turkey actually. So, and they're attacking Syria. They're attacking Syria.
In the south.
And the Syrians couldn't do anything. They're so weak. They can't do anything.
They can't.
So therefore, to say that, let them just, okay, the Iranian regime did a lot of mistakes. But on the other side, the Iranian regime supported Palestine. And they supported the Islamic groups in Palestine who are Sunnis. They're not Shias. Hamas and Jihad Islami and others, they supported them. This is the reality. They helped them to dig tunnels. They helped them to do a lot of things. They supported them with money, with thinking, with sending their men there. That's a lot of work. And their group, Hezbollah in Lebanon, did a big job with our brothers in Palestine. Mm-hmm. So we have two eyes. An eye on Palestine, okay, that's good. They worked good. An eye on Syria, they worked so bad. So we agree with them in Palestine. Yeah. We disagree with them in Syria. That's how we have to understand it. Another answer. Why people agreed to have good relationship with Russia, who fought us in Afghanistan, in Chechnya, in a lot of places, and they are the ones who bombed Syria. And they are the ones who killed thousands, or let me tell you, lots of innocent Syrians.
That's right.
And Syrians now went to Moscow and they had good relationship with them and they forgot what they did before. So you could forget what the Russians did, and you can't forget what Iranians did. Or Shias did.
I could play devil's advocate for that. Yeah. What they would say is that Russia intervened in the Syrian war on a sort of political, financial benefit for them, whereas the Shia, Iran, and these, Republican Guards or the militiat that went Zainabiyun, Fatimiyun, Hajj Sha'bi, Madriyesh, they went on an ideology basis. They went because they have riwayat like Qatl al-Nawasib, and they went.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah. The reality.
They went with that.
No, the reality is that everybody's playing games with religion. Even the Syrian regime.
Be careful, Shaykh, what you say.
The Syrian. Let me just be honest.
Now, be frank. I want you to.
Okay. Let me be frank. The Syrian regime's speech before they took place in Damascus is totally different from what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So they have the right to change their point of view, and others don't have the right to change their point of view. Anyway, me as a Sunni, I have the reality. I believe in things that we have to be. But I'm just now trying to understand what's happening. Iran didn't use their religious background
to go into Syria.
To go to Syria, they had a political idea there.
I would say partially. Religion did play a part.
It played, of course, because they're a religious group. They're religious groups.
They have wilayat al-faqih mindset, don't they?
But let us speak about wilayat al-faqih. What is wilayat al-faqih? Wilayat al-faqih is an ideology that changed the Shi'is from just waiting for the Mahdi to be an active group in the world. Mm-hmm. So they became something that is similar to the Zaydis.
Okay.
Right? Because the Zaydis believe that the Imam has to be so and so and so and so, and he works and does. Shi'is don't believe in that. But their Imam didn't come since the 1,000 years. He still didn't appear.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Khomeini said, "Listen, guys, the faqih is going to take place of the Mahdi. That's it.
So I'm the representative.
So I'm the representative. But how are we going to choose you?" They said, "We're going to make elections and we're going to choose according to so and so and so and so." Okay, this is what the Sunnis said from the beginning, right? So actually, they went back to what the Sunnis said, but after 1,000 years from what happened.
Okay.
And what am I saying? And what there's a thinker, an intellectual man, Iraqi man called Ahmed Katib. I think you know him.
I know.
Ahmed Katib is in
He's
Britain.
left. He's kind of, he's like a reformist, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he was a reformist. Yeah.
He denies the occultation and stuff.
Yeah. What he says that when Iran found the states and made Wilayat al-Faqih, that means they got rid of their old opinions. And this means that there's no reason to speak bad about the Sahaba anymore. There's no reason to accuse Khulafa al-Rashidun anymore. Because actually we discovered that there's no Wilayat Faqih now. Actually, that means there's no Mahdi. Because what did they say? They used to say that Al-Khalifa is from God, the Imam is from God, and he is supposed to be ma'soom so that people won't get lost. But people 1,000 years they're without Khalifa, without Imam. So they got lost. Actually, yeah. So the reason that you spoke, that you're giving us about the excuses that you are using to make the Imam didn't work. And it's still not working anymore. So you had to change it. We changed it from the beginning. We said there is no Imam Masoom from the beginning. And we made elections and we chose the Imam.
Sure.
Okay? With the shura. That's what you're doing right now.
But when you say, again, I have seen many areas in Iran that even though there is statements from Khomeini and Khamenei that you don't curse the companions or whatnot, it is pretty much active in Iran. It does happen.
You went to Iran?
No, there's television stations where they're openly, cursing the What I'm saying is, you're not gonna application and what they want is two different things, isn't it? Yes. So maybe on a theoretical theoretical level, they probably want not to curse the companions for siyasa reasons, to have good relationship with Sunnis. I don't know what's in the heart, right? But is it not fair to say that Iran, with its history and going forward, can we act? And I think I asked you this off camera. We can't trust them.
I didn't say we're going to trust them.
Oh, no, I just want you to say, just in case, because the rhetoric does seem a bit.
I didn't say that we're going to trust. No. I know that what they did in Afghanistan, and I know what they did in Iraq, and what they did in Syria. I know that. That's something that I'm not discussing about. But as we did with Saddam Hussein, when the Americans called people to attack him, we stood with Saddam Hussein. Although he's a Ba'athi, Almani. I know that many people say no. In his last days, he became
the last 3 years when he got arrested.
Anyway, that's not a big deal. But why did we stand with Saddam Hussein? Is it because he's a Muslim against the kuffar? He represents Muslims. His nation are Muslims. Although we know that many Iraqis are Shia, from the Arabs and from the Kurds and from the others. The Shias are everywhere there.
That's true.
And they're very fanatic. The Shia of Iraq are very, very fanatic and very astray. They're maybe more astray than the Iranians.
No, I think they're more extreme.
They're more extreme, yeah.
Hajj al-Sha'bi, for example.
Yeah. So now, let us see. Iran, don't they have a great majority of Sunnis and Muslims?
Of course they do.
All of the Kurds are Shafi'is, Sunnis.
The Baluchis.
All of the Baluchis are Hanafis, Sunnis.
Shafis,
yeah. And they have lots of Arabs that many of them became converting to Sunnah. Especially the Ahwaz.
The Shia are mostly though.
Yeah, they're Shia, like the Shia of al-Basra. They're the same tribes.
They're close.
But they're becoming, a lot of them are becoming Sunnis nowadays. Yeah. So the du'at ilallah are working everywhere.
Okay.
And that's giving fruits. There's something important. The Iranians are not anymore following religion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is a big problem. So they have two ways, either to become Sunnis or atheists. This is what happened to Iranians.
Well, Zoroastrians, they're even converting back to their roots.
Yeah. So what's the reason? Is it because they got fit of the Shi'i ideology? I don't know. Maybe. Is it because what happened in the West is going to happen in Iran too? Which means that's because there's a similarity between the Christian, the Roman Church, the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church,
Protestants.
and no, the Catholic,
Okay.
and the Shi'i.
Oh, yeah, but
School. The theology is similar. They have these religious men,
yeah,
the clergy.
That's the word I was looking for.
Similar to that.
It is.
Yeah. So therefore, this makes people get fit of these types of things, especially when they become intellectual. Maybe the Iranians are more than Iraqis about that. Iranians are not even religious. I used to see a lot of programs about Iran. People don't follow religion.
They despise religion.
Maybe lots of laymen are normal Muslims. Maybe they pray, they fast, they Ramadan. But there's a big majority. There's a majority of people that don't even follow anything. They don't even fast Ramadan.
Yeah, it's true.
This was so strange.
It's strange. It is strange. I've seen a lot of Iranians in the UK who come as refugees.
No, when they go out of Iran, they're not even Muslims anymore. They're not Muslims anymore.
Or they convert to Christianity.
Or Jews even.
Yeah,
some of them become Jews.
Maybe. Yeah, but there's a massive chunk of Yehudis in Iran, the Isfahan. There's roots because of the exile and whatnot. Exactly. In an ideal world, we unite with Iran. Okay, let's take your premise now.
Yeah,
we're hunky-dory with Iran. We're happy. We're shaking hands. Alhamdulillah, everything's fine. But it's gonna come a time that they're gonna backstab.
That's gonna be another story.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
All right. So for now,
as we spoke about them right now, and we used to speak something else before. Because some people come and tell, look what you used to say. Yeah, I used to say that when they were in Syria, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
But now I'm saying something else because the situation changed.
Okay. So moving on from that, Iran, in this particular conflict, as Muslims, it's not beneficial to stay neutral.
Yeah.
We should be supporting Iran.
We have to support
100%.
them. Yeah.
Okay. And with the leadership, support the leadership?
We support them against the enemies. That's
All right, that's it. Okay, so that's basically the nutshell. Support Iran. I would have to say, I'm not a big fan. I'll keep it to that, but I understand your point of view. I think having these ideas or exchanges make you understand the other side.
Yeah.
But again, moving on to the next part, because this is where a lot of the, what's the word I'm trying to use without sounding too negative, because they already think I'm already a Khariji, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm not coming across as one. When it comes to Salafis or the Gulf,
the
Salafis in the Gulf, we know, and there's no exaggeration to say, that there are bases of the Americans in Iran.
Yeah.
In American bases in the Gulf. So that has been a launching pad for many of the strikes in Iraq and Afghanistan and vice versa. So what Salafis have done, because they follow the political winds, we know that. If they argue, and again, that they may say, okay, look, all Shia are kuffar, and they'll grab aqwal min as-salaf, and they say, al-rafida, kada wa kada, kuffar, don't marry them, don't do eat from the dabiha and whatnot. So the Salaf had a harsh view. So why don't we apply that?
Okay, first of all, not all the Salafis have the same point of view. And not all of them have the same ideas and opinions about the Shia.
Okay.
This is one. Number two, if you're going to go and quote from the Salaf and implement on people right now, if you do that with the Hanafis, you're going to finish everything.
What's
because you know what the Salaf said about Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, and what happened there, and what the Imam Khatib Baghdadi in the history of Baghdad, he quoted a lot of sayings from the Salaf, and Imam Abdullah ibn Ahmad Hanbal in his book Sunnah. So there's a lot to say about that.
Of course,
we're gonna start defending, not defending, etc. The same thing is gonna be said about the Shia.
Okay.
So if you come implement what the Salaf said about many ideas now, you're not going to finish. You're going to say everybody's deviant, everybody's kafir, everybody, and you're going to finish.
Okay.
And the problem is that you have to understand when the Salaf said that, what was the reason that made them say that? How were these guys that said that?
Mm-hmm.
What are the circumstances? And that's a totally big issue.
So why can't we? Okay, if just say I agree. There's a lot of negative.
Now, sorry.
Go.
Now the Shia, all of them are not one group, as we Sunnis have lots of groups.
Of course,
we have the Salafis, the Madkhalis, the Haddadis, the Ikhwanis,
Sururi,
the Jubandis, the Ikhwanis, etc. You're not going to finish. And the Ash'aris are different groups, and they have the same thing.
They do.
and they have lots of opinion. They have the Usulis, the
Shirazis,
Ikhbaris, the Shirazis,
yeah.
the Khalisis, the I don't know what. There are lots of groups.
It's true. It's true. We don't see that, but
We don't see that, but they are.
Yeah.
So when you come, for example, and say, "Look at what this guy says,"
from the
others
Salaf.
are going to say, "Oh, this is not our. He doesn't represent us."
Yeah. It's not revelation.
It's like if you come to an Ikhwani and say, "Look what the Haddadi says." If a Shi'i comes to Ikhwani and tells them, "Look what you guys say," and he comes and quotes from Madkhali or Haddadi, he's going to tell, "Oh, that guy doesn't represent us.
They don't represent us."
Yeah. So it's the same thing exactly with the Shia.
Okay. So what is the correct view? Because I hold the position of the Shia, which is the Ibn Taymiyyah position.
Yeah, I have this.
So that's the same view.
That's the same view.
Okay, so basically,
and he's speaking about the people in that era.
Time,
what about in these days?
Yeah,
you have lots of new groups and ideas and stuff.
And they probably were, especially at Hilli and all the different ulama this time. They were probably the strict and harsh ones of the time. So the Ibn Taymiyyah position is that the Shia are Muslims, but they're Ahlul Bidah.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the position?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what they say.
That's what.
Some of them might be Zindiq.
And Kuffar, exactly.
Yeah, that's another.
But
story.
as a general hukam am,
they're
Muslims, but they're Ahlul Bidah.
Yes, exactly.
And I think I read in Majmu', I think it's Minhaj, that he mentioned that there was a group of, I think it was the people of Cyprus or the Romans, that went to the Bilad of the Rafida and they become Muslims,
he said that,
but they came from Kufr to Bidah.
Yes, so he says that in the Fatawa.
And then he mentioned another fatwa about marrying into the Rafida, and he said the marriage would be still jaiz, it would be still permissible.
He says that.
So apart from Ibn Taymiyyah, would there be any ulama that has the Taymi position of the Shia?
Lots of ulama in the history had that.
Could you list some so we make it more comprehensive?
Especially the ulama that were in the places where there were Shia, their neighbors, their friends, their roommates, their mates in their land, in their cities, neighbors. They had good relationship. We know that. So in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Pakistan, in India, Afghanistan, and they had. I mean, you find, for example, in India. Let me just give an example of. The book of history of India, 7 volumes of Shaykh Abdul Hayy al-Hassani, the father of Abu Hassan Nadwi.
Okay, yes.
He mentioned a lot of Shia in the book. He didn't say these guys are kuffar and so. He just mentioned the Shia so and so.
Yeah.
And you have this a lot in the history.
So what is like, okay, I've communicated with a lot of Shias now, Islahi Shias. So they're very they still believe in their tenets, but they kind of like left off the sub and the the takfir and whatnot.
Yes.
So that's what there needs to be coexistence. I agree. We can't have this tunnel vision approach that everyone is just one and the same, like you just mentioned. But when we find Sunnis that make blatant takfir of the Shia, why would you think has resulted? Is it due to political, issues, and they just want to marginalized, not knowing that the actual Taymiyyah view is this? What's bringing this about then? Well,
it's the same thing. As they have people who are fanatic against the Sunnis, we have people who are fanatic against the Shi'is.
Okay.
I can't claim that it's just politics. No, maybe they believe that. They see these guys say bad things about the Sahaba. That's true.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah, they say bad things about Sayyidah Aisha. That's true. So they have the zeal.
And tahrif.
Yeah, they have tahrif of the Quran. They have bad things. A lot of bad things. Yeah. So when they feel the zeal, you can't complain. You can't tell them you're wrong. You can't tell them they're wrong. Yeah. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that there are lots of Muslims that are afraid to speak in serious issues, so they find it easy to speak in these types of issues that don't cause them any problem.
Sheikh, I had considerable issues regarding transparency when it comes to charities, and there's a lot of issues now with charities, especially influencers being employed to fundraise for them, that there's no transparency, like documentation. So people just go by videos that they get from Gaza or like in the Maghrib when the earthquake happened. They just send you videos. How do we know what was spent, how much was raised? Do you think there needs to be an emphasis to stop corruption, which I was telling you about that Australian, where she was recording AI videos and taking money for Gaza? What's your thoughts on complete, full necessity when it comes to transparency, Sheikh?
Actually, if you want people to trust you, you have to be clear.
Agreed.
And people need to know where their money is going.
Okay.
More than that, you have to organize all of your jobs so that you won't lose money. Anything that is not organized, it's corrupted. So when you have things just going like that without counting, without knowing what are the incomes, what are the outcomes, this leads to lose the money. And then not all people are trustful as we can imagine.
Okay.
Sometimes we imagine everybody is trustful, trustworthy, and people can. But the problem, the real serious problem, is that a lot of people, they don't say we're stealing money, no, but they try to put a legitimate story,
Okay.
or they try to um, tell themselves, influence themselves that they're doing something right.
So they justify it to themselves.
They justify themselves that we're doing something right, etc. So, but actually, they're not doing it.
So
when you take the money and you claim that you have the right to take it, now you're stealing.
And then what if when it comes to giving or an update, 5 documentation, so for a project in Morocco where the earthquake happened, they said we're going to raise money for a madrasa or to build homes or to give food.
Yeah.
And then we turn around and say, okay, can you show us proof how much you spent in your campaign, how much you raised first, how much you spent? Is that Islamically justified for?
Yeah, of course it's justified.
Is it Islamically the obligation upon them shar'an that they need to supply that documentation based on amana, wakala, and stuff like that? They have to supply it.
Well, they have to show people that they're
spending the money.
They took their money and they're spending it in the right place.
And with video evidence.
Well, video or whatever.
But would that be evidence though? Because in this day and age, you could do AI like that, Lily, and just show that you.
Anyway, you have to convince people that you're doing right.
Exactly. So you've got to be more forceful and more show more strength. Yeah. Give us the documentation.
That's true.
Okay. So just to clarify, Shaykh agrees, full, complete transparency. Sheikh, no?
Yes.
That's good. But just to end off, Shaykh, I know we had private chats over the last 2-3 years, right, about the Najdi Dawah. Well, now both of us, just for transparency, we thought about transparency, Shaykh, we are both from the Athari Muthbita methodology and Aqidah. So when it comes to Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, who was an Athari himself, the books or the Risalat is agreeable within the paradigms of the Athari creed. We agree that there's no issues with the books. Okay, you can find a mistake anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
But generally speaking, the message, the emphasis on Tawheed, stay away from Shirk, there's no issues with
exactly.
That. Thank you. That's something we could agree upon.
Yeah.
But there's a popular dua in the UK, that had some, back and forth with the Najdi Dawah. You wrote books on it.
Yeah.
You sent me a few of those books, which I read, tabarakallah. What would you, if you were to summarize, because I don't want to make this too long, but if you were to summarize with the Najdi Dawah, what were the issues and why is it that you find many deny, or if not, force themselves that what's been ascribed to him when it comes to rash takfir tasalsul, and the whoever doesn't ally with us is a kafir and whatnot. Where did they go wrong?
Look, the Najdi movement was influenced by the books of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah. And if I can say that they resurrected the books of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, and they made it life after it was only books, but it became human beings and it became people. It became a state. But we have to we're not supposed to forget that anyway, the Najdi movement was a militant movement.
Okay, it was.
Number one. Number two, it's a Bedouin movement. And the Bedouin background is not like the city background.
Yeah,
if I can say.
Okay.
Damascus is not like the nomad forest or whatever. It's the Sahara, the grand Badia. Yeah. So therefore, the mentality of these is not like the mentality of the others, and that's why the Najdis that studied in Azhar were more intellectual than the Najdi that stayed in Najd.
Sure.
You see, so therefore, I can say that the Najdi movement, all these reasons made it plus the era, which was a very fanatic, ignorant era. I said that the last 5 centuries were the most ignorant and the most darkest eras in the Islamic ages. So therefore, we're speaking about an era where most of people, religious people, were so addicted to innovations, to polytheist actions or acts, to ignorant acts. Now, these are the people of the cities. Now, the people out of cities, they were totally ignorant. They didn't used to know anything. I'm not speaking only about Arabia. It's all these types of areas in the whole Islamic land.
Yeah.
And most of the scholars didn't used to go and clarify things for these guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes they used to mock them. They used to see that these are Bedouins, they don't mean anything. But the problem is that these guys had to have people who show them. The Najdi movements fulfilled this problem. They went to the villages, not the villages actually, the Bedouin areas, and they started building what is called al-Hijar. The Hijar is a place where it becomes later on people settle in it and they start learning. They sent to them what is called in that era Dawah. Dawah is like Shaykh. He goes and starts teaching them until they become they understand their religion. They start praying, they start fasting, they start doing all these types of worships that they didn't used to do. You know, so they start understand what is right, what is wrong, what is halal, what is haram. And this was a very good thing that the Najdis did, as Sheikh Mahmoud Shukri al-Alusi rahimahullah said in his book Tarikh Najd. Mahmoud Shukri al-Alusi is from Baghdad,
Hanafi,
and he's a great alim from a alim family. Mahmoud Shukri, his grandfather Mahmoud Effendi, that wrote Ruh al-Ma'ani, the great tafsir. His uncle Khair al-Din and others. So all these, the family was a well-known family in Iraq, and he supported the Najdi movement. But what he said all what they did, teaching people, fighting against the Bedouins, etc., was fantastic. But the great problem they did is that they rebuilt against the Ottoman Empire, which was the Caliphate. You see, so he considers that a big mistake that they did.
And what about the chain takfir element? Because, like you said, they came from the harsh background in the Badia, in Al-Arid wal Najd. And whilst we agree, no one disagrees, even the Orientalists agree that there was rampant polytheistic rituals happening in all over the Islamic land, but even in the Najd area. But Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab had a position that they epitomized Tawheed. Do you remember? And you said in your book as well about the dark ages, like there was the Prophet ﷺ, Ibrahim and the Anbiya came, and then they fell into shirk, and then the Prophet ﷺ came, and then after that the Ummah went into decadence, and then Shaykh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab.
Yes, this is what he says in Kashf Shubuhat. He says that. So he says that Muslims or the Arabs were ignorant, or they're polytheists, until Allah sent to them Abraham and Ishmael, peace be upon them. So they grabbed them from polytheism to monotheism, and remained like that for centuries. And then Amr ibn al-Luhay al-Khuzai came, and he led them back to shirk by getting these idols from Syria and stuff like that. So they became polytheists again, until Allah sent to them Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then after, and the idols, according to Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, were images of righteous people. So they made these images so the Muslims later on made the shrines of righteous people as the Arabs did to the idols. And they did all what Arabs used to do, like asking them, like circumambulating their graves, like children, asking them a lot of things that no one can do that except Allah, like swearing with their names, etc. A lot of things. So Shaykh Muhammad says that they apostatized again. They went back to shirk. And then until Allah sent to them Muhammad Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah to show them. And there's Shaykh Ahmad al-Hafzi in some of his books. He says that there were two fatara,
Period.
Fatra, yeah. The Fatra after Ibn Taymiyyah, before Ibn Taymiyyah, and Fatra before Muhammad Abdul Wahab.
Inna lillahi.
This is what they say actually, and I mentioned this in my book.
So for Ahl al-Fatra, I mean those who were like,
Yeah,
they were part of Fitra.
yeah, they're lost. They're lost
Completely.
They used to practice polytheist actions and stuff and things like that.
And just about the alliances now, because they went to jihad after the first meeting, and you mentioned in your book about the wife said, grasp him as ghanima because and then they had the meeting and he goes, Ubashiraka bil ni'am wal khair and in Anwan al Majd. But when it came to alliances now, just to end off the alliances, so like if you don't ally with Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab, it's as if you've gone against the deen of Islam. Because how can you oppose me? Because I'm spreading the, as he said to Muhammad bin Saud, Da'watul Anbiya. So he is now the inheritance of this particular da'wah.
This is a big problem.
There's a big problem.
They made themselves connected to Islam. They are Islam and Islam is them.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone goes Arabic?
This is a big problem. And the disaster was when the children of Al Saud fought against each other in the second kingdom. So some of them accused the others, kuffar, and the others accused them because they're fighting against the Tawheed.
Yeah, the Rashidiyya
and Ibn Rashid, actually, all of his judges and religious men were from the Salafis. Students of the Najdi Dawah. But they were with Ibn Rashid, who was allied to the Ottomans.
Yes.
To the Ottomans. So they didn't like that. And they accused him to be mushrik and stuff like that.
So that's where the problem was. And the killing and the ghanaim.
That comes after shirk.
Yeah.
When you accuse somebody to be mushrik, okay, you kill and you do everything.
And then the ally tawalli and muwallat and stuff. So
I said in my books, Allah Almighty did call Jews and Christians kuffar and mushrikeen. He called them الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب. He calls them أهل الكتاب والمشركين. لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب مشركين ومنفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة. So he always differentiates between أهل الكتاب and المشركين. Why? These are laymen. These are ignorant. They don't have a book. These guys have a book. So he respects their book.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to call Muslims mushrikeen. And they follow Quran. They used to pray 5 prayers, they used to fast in Ramadan, they used to do all these types of things, and then you call them mushrikeen as if they were the idolaters that used to worship idols. That's impossible.
The balanced view, especially obviously ourselves coming from an Athari background, needless to say, the da'wah had impact. It eradicated these khurafat practices, we agree.
Yes.
But how they carried it out and implemented it, and their manhaj and the accusations of shirk and you're kuffar because you don't, I think that's what resulted in the massacres that we can't ignore. So Shaykh, I'll end off. Any final message to our brothers and sisters in the West?
My advice to my brothers and sisters in the West is stop accusing your brothers and sisters to be your enemies. Your enemy is not the Ash'ari, is not the Salafi, is not the Sufi. Your enemy are the enemies of Islam, the ones who invade the Islamic land, the ones who support who invades Islamic land, who invade the sacred land, who fights, who slays Muslims. Stop making big problems between each other instead of searching for the things that make you real brothers. There's a lot to say about that. There's a lot to say about searching for things that make us close to each other rather than searching for things that make us far from each other. This is the main thing that you have to do, especially you guys in the West. You are between a sea. You are only a lake inside a sea, or an island inside a sea of non-Muslims. So this island, you can't make battles on the island between each other.
Yeah, it's bad enough as it is.
Yeah. And for all our brothers in the West, stop going back and digging in the books and resurrecting old battles. We are sons of this era. Search for our problems in this era.
Okay, and don't go back into village wars. What was 1,000 years ago, if not hundreds of years ago. But Shaykhna, Allah barik feek for allowing me this time of yours.